Hello guys, I hope you are doing well. So in today's lecture we will create an S3 bucket by using CloudFormation template and enable the encryption on that S3 bucket, enable versioning on the S3 bucket, and additionally we will also apply the bucket policy to the objects so that any unencrypted object could not upload in our bucket. So this is our target, and now let's start. So this is the CloudFormation stack. There are two files. You are seeing that there are two files, s3 app.yaml and s3 app main.yaml. So what these two files are doing, I will tell you later. So first of all, come to the file that is the s3 app.yaml file. So this is written in the YAML language, and also there are different, you are seeing that there are different sections which we discussed earlier of the CloudFormation. That is a description section, parameter section, and coming downward resources section and the output section. So these are the different sections, but the compulsory or the mandatory section is the resources section. All other sections are optional, but it is a good practice to use all these sections in your CloudFormation stack. So what description section is telling that S3 bucket encryption, I am going to encrypt my S3 bucket, and I am going to enable the versioning on my S3 bucket, and I am also applying the bucket policy on my S3 bucket. So I have wrote them in the description section. Now coming to the parameter section, there I have defined different parameters. That is a bucket name. I have told the type, that is a string. Description, that is this is a bucket name, and default I have wrote the name of the bucket which I want to create. This is a bucket name. So there are other parameters like project, app, environment. These are the parameters, and versioning status, block public policy, ignore public ACLs, and I have also mentioned the default values here as well. And then there is the restrict public buckets. The default value is true. So now coming to the resources section, then you will understand in a good way what these parameters are doing. So this is the first resource is the AWS S3 bucket. This is the type, and this is the logical name. That is, you can create your own name here, but the type remains the same. You cannot change this type. And the deletion policy is delete. It means that if you want to delete your CloudFormation stack, then your bucket will also be deleted. The condition is that your bucket must be empty, otherwise it will not be deleted, and you have to first then your stack will not be become in a delete failed condition. So first of all you have to first empty your bucket, then delete your S3 bucket, and then you have to delete the CloudFormation stack. Now this is the properties section of the resource S3 bucket, and there are different properties. There are different properties values here, and I will also refer to you to the documentation as well. This is the documentation of the AWS CloudFormation, and I have filtered it to the YAML because I have wrote my CloudFormation stack in the YAML language. So this is the type and properties. There are a lot of properties, but all these properties are not compulsory to define in this bucket. There are many properties which are not mandatory, and they are optional. So all the properties which are mandatory or compulsory, you have to define in your resource. There are different properties like accelerate configuration, access control, analytics configuration, bucket encryption, bucket name, ports configuration. You can read all these details by clicking to that property, and you see that the whole description of that property will will tell you what this property is doing. So I have for the demo purpose, I have shown you some properties here. So first one is the bucket name. I have used the intrinsic function, that is a substitute function. It will substitute the value of the project, app, environment, bucket name. So these are the parameters, these are the values which I have defined in the parameters. You can see that here. bucket name, project, app, environment. These are the values which I have defined in the parameter section. This is the AWS region where I will deploy my stack. So this region, this value will come by default. Also the account ID will come also by default. So this these values are substituted automatically. Then there is a versioning configuration, that you want to enable versioning on your S3 bucket or not. The status is enabled. It means that I am going to enable my versioning configuration. And also access control, that you want your bucket to be public, private, or public read, you can define here. Then there is a public access block configuration. There are other sub properties in this property section, the block public ACLs, and I have used the ref intrinsic function to refer the value of the block public ACLs. So I have defined all these values in my parameter section. You can see that restrict public buckets is defined here. That is my parameter section, and I have set the default value as true. So my bucket will not be public, and it will restrict the public access. And then there is the other property, that is the website configuration. So if you want to enable static website configuration, you have to define index document and the error document as index.html and error.html respectively. Then there is other parameter, that is the tags. You can define the tags, but this is optional, but it is a good practice that you put the tags to your AWS resources. And I have used the substitute function. It will substitute the values of the project, app, environment respectively to their places. And then there is a bucket policy, that is the AWS S3 bucket policy. Now you see that the type has been changed, because for the resource S3 bucket the type was AWS S3 bucket, and now for the bucket policy the type is AWS S3 bucket policy. So the type does not change. Type remains fixed. So you cannot say that I want to name the name here bucket policy public. No, the type remains same for the bucket policy. This is the logical name, you can change this name. And the property section, bucket, I want to apply this bucket policy to the above bucket which I have created, which I am creating here. So now I have used the intrinsic function ref, and this is the logical name of the resource S3 bucket. So this is the logical name, and I have reference to here. Now the policy document, you can also see the documentation of the AWS S3 bucket policy as well. So I am filtering to the YAML, and you can see that the mandatory, there are two properties, that is the bucket and the policy document, and both are the required, that is the compulsory. So what is the policy document? I have defined the version. This version remains fixed. ID object policy, I am creating a bucket policy for the objects. Statement SID, you can enter the statement ID by your own self. I have used the value used deny unencrypted object uploads. So my all the put object will be encrypted. It means that my all the objects which will be put into the bucket will be encrypted. If they are unencrypted, then they will not be uploaded. So this is the bucket policy. I have set the effect to deny principal. This is the account ID, current account ID by which I am using. So this will substitute the ID of the ARN of the account. And then action S3 put object, it means that I am denying the put object if my condition, if this condition does not met. If this condition does not met, my object will be denied. And what the condition is doing, it is comparing the server side encryption, S3 XEMZ server side encryption. If the object meets this condition, that is the server side encryption, then my object will be uploaded. And resource is the ARN of the S3 bucket, and I have used the substitute function because I am going to substitute the name of the S3 bucket here. And I have used the /* because I am applying the bucket policy to the objects, not on the bucket. So /* means that everything in the bucket will be considered as object, and my condition will be applied to the to all the objects. And then I have used the output section. Now I am going to output the my S3 bucket, and I have used the value, that is the reference the logical name of the S3 bucket, and export it by the name of the project app environment. The values will be substituted here, and the S3 bucket, this is the name by which I am exporting. Now why I am using this the other second file, because here in the parameter I have defined the default value, but if I do not define the default value here, I remove all the default values from this parameter section. Now I have to define it somewhere else. So the second file is where I am creating my main stack, and you can say that this is the nested stack, that I am creating my resources in this file, that is s3 app.yaml, but I am creating my main stack in the s3 app main.yaml file. So I have removed all the default values from here, and I have used all the default values here. So this format, the structure remains the same, the file structure remains the same, that is the description, parameters. I have defined some parameters which I am using in this file. This is the s3 artifact where I am going to upload this s3 app.yaml file. I will upload this is the URL of my s3 bucket where I am going to upload this file, that is s3 app.yaml file. Now this is the resources section where I am going to create a stack. You can see the type AWS CloudFormation stack, and description remains the same. Properties, here template URL, this is the URL where I am going to upload this s3 app.yaml file. You can see that I have used the substitute function s3 artifact, here the whole URL of the s3 bucket, and /s3 /s3 app.yaml. so you can see that this is the file which I am uploading to this bucket. And then I have used all the parameters, bucket name, project, app, environment, version status. Here bucket name is this s3 bucket using CloudFormation, project reference project, so this value will come from this parameter section POC. And then app, environment, version status, I have defined all the default values here. Then I have output this s3 bucket stack, this is the logical name, and I have referenced my AWS s3 stack, the logical name of the CloudFormation stack. So in this way I am going to output my CloudFormation stack. Now there are some commands which by which we will upload the objects to the s3 bucket. So this is the command AWS s3 sync dot, means that all the files which are in this path. So you see that I have used a list function, and you see that there are two files, s3 app.yaml and s3 app main.yaml. so I am going to upload it to the s3, and this is my URI, that is IAC artifact DevOps YouTube tutorials US East 1. This is the URI of my s3 bucket. So what I will do is copy this command, Control-C, and paste it here and enter. So this will upload these two files to my s3 bucket. So these two files are uploaded. Now I have to now I will show you also that whether they are uploaded or not. So these are the artifacts s3, come to this, and you see that these two files are uploaded. Now I have to create the CloudFormation stack. So before deploying the stack, first of all I have to validate the CloudFormation stack, that is there any error in the file or not. So what I will do, I will paste the command AWS CloudFormation validate template -- template body and the path of the file, and the name of the file is s3 app.yaml. so what enter the command, and you will see that this will show you whole file, whole lines of the file. So enter Control-C, and now you have to validate the main.yaml file as well, and you see that there is no error in this file. Now what I will do is that I will create the CloudFormation stack by using this command, and what this will do is So AWS Cloud Formation create stack. I am going to create stack by the name minus stack name. This is the name of my CloudFormation stack which I am going to create. uzair POC dev tutorials task 1 US East 1 minus template body, and this is the path of the file that, which I am going to deploy s3 app main.yaml. So I am going to deploy this main file, not the s3 app.yaml file. So how these two files are linking? These files are linking by this property, that is a template URL. I have gave the path of this s3 app.yaml to in this stack. So these two files are linking in this way, that is by using this template URL. So when I will deploy this stack, it will go to the go line by line and when it come to the template URL, it will read this path and deploy this s3 app.yaml resources. Now I am going to enter the command. If I am not going to specify the region, that is then it will take the default region, that is the US East 1. So now coming to the stack, CloudFormation stack. So you can see that these two stacks, this is my main stack and this is my nested stack. So this is the file which I that is the s3 app.main.yaml file, and this will create my CloudFormation stack. You see that in the resources section, this is the CloudFormation stack, this is the type CloudFormation stack, and in the outputs the outputs will be visible after the whole stack will be created. So in the resources section, you see that my bucket policy and the s3 bucket will are created now, and in the outputs you see that if you do the refresh, this is my s3 bucket name which I have output which I have taken the as an output. So if you see that this is the whole CloudFormation stack has been completed. So now going to the resources, that is the s3 bucket name, click on this. This will take you into the s3 bucket. So now we will see the all the parameters which we have defined. Coming to the properties, you see that bucket versioning is enabled. We have enabled that. We have gave the tags to the s3 bucket, that is name, project, environment, and this is the app. These tags which we have assigned to this s3 bucket. And encryption key type is there is none, because I have enabled the encryption, the default encryption, that is a server side encryption. And now the transfer acceleration is disabled because I have not enabled in the property section. You see that static website hosting is enabled, so I have enabled it in the parameter section, the property section of the s3 bucket. Bucket and objects are not public because I have I have taken the value of the block public ACL's block public policy to the true, so that's why my objects in the bucket are not public. And block public ACL was access was true, so that's why my block all public ACL access is on. So this is the bucket policy which I have created. This is the second resource which I have created, and how I created the bucket policy. Now this is the bucket policy which I have created in this stack, that is s3 app.yaml file. So this was the bucket policy. So how I created the bucket policy, go to the policy generator. You see that this bucket policy is written in the JSON language, so you can simply convert it into the JSON to YAML form. So coming to the policy generator, which select the type of the policy, that is s3 bucket policy. Now I am going to deny. So I am going to I will select deny principal for this now I am going to take asterisk, that is all users, but in the bucket policy I have used my current account, that is the AWS account ID. So it automatically retrieve the ARN of my AWS account. Now AWS service, now actions, I am going to put this bucket policy to the put object. So this is a put object. Now I am going to deny. So copy the ARN of the bucket and paste here. And as I have told us, write the slash asterisk because I am going to apply this bucket policy to the objects. So here I have selected the null condition because what this will do is value was true. So if my objects matches this condition, that is the server side encryption, then my objects will be uploaded, otherwise they will be discarded. So this is a policy which I created. You generate the policy and convert it into the YAML form and copy it into the YAML document, that is the CloudFormation stack. So first of all, let's test our bucket policy, that it is working or not. So first of all, let's select the files, anyone, copy the path. So upload any files. For example, I am going to upload the script file, and if I will upload it here by without any encryption, then it will discard my file, it will not upload my file. So you can see that it has prompted the error because I have not enabled the encryption. So if I upload this file and open, and then I will go to the properties and I will tell the encryption policy, server side encryption, and do not specify an encryption key. If I select the specify an encryption key and Amazon S3 managed key SSE S3, then this is the default encryption key, and then now my object will be uploaded. So how this bucket policy will work. So in this video we have created the S3 bucket resource and the bucket policy resource by using CloudFormation in YAML language, and we have used the nested CloudFormation stack, that in the first file, that is s3app.yaml, we have only deployed the resources, that is the bucket and the bucket policy, and in the main stack we have called that resource file, that is s3app.yaml, and in this file we have created our main stack, that is the CloudFormation stack. So practice it by yourself, and if you face any error, comment write in the comment box section. I will try my best to take time and respond your queries, and I will meet you in the next video with a new topic. So attach to this channel and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.